Hi guys, welcome to learnCity. My name is Daniel, and in today's video I'll be taking you through biology past questions and answers in order of topics. Our topic today is higher plants, Spermatophyta. Question 1. Root hairs have their origin from A. Endodermis, B. Pericycle, C. Cortex, D. Epidermis, E. Xylem. The question is gotten from the year 1979, question 46. Why not give it a try? Let's see what the correct answer says. The correct answer is D. Epidermis. Epidermis is the outer layer of the roots in this question. The endodermis is the inner layer. So the root hairs originate, of course, from the outer layer, which is the epidermis. And that's why the correct answer is D. Epidermis. Question 2. Which of the following tissues are made up of dead cells? A. Meristematic, B. Xylem tissues, C. Vascular tissues, D. Endodermis, E. Pericycle. The year 1983, question 1. Let's give it a try. Now let's see what the correct answer says. The correct answer is B. Xylem tissues. Xylem tissues is made up of, the correct answer is B. Xylem tissues, because xylem tissues are made up of 4 different kinds of cells, which are tracheids, vessels, fibers, and parenchyma. Parenchyma is made up of dead or lignified cells. And the question is asking us which of the following is made up of dead cells. And the correct answer is xylem, because parenchyma, which are made up of dead and lignified cells, are also found inside xylem. Question 3. In a dicot leaf, guard cells differ from epidermal cells because they A. have no definite shape, B. lack nuclei, C. are smaller, D. contain chloroplast, E. lack vacuole. That question is gotten from the year 1983, question 5. Why not give it a try? Let's give it a try. Now let's check out what the correct answer says. The correct answer is D. Contain chloroplast. Dicot guard cells differ from other epidermal cells because they contain chloroplast. That's the major difference between the guard cells and the other epidermal cells. Guard cells contains chloroplast, and chloroplast, which contains chlorophyll, help in photosynthesis. That is the difference between guard cells and the other epidermal cells. Question 4. Herbs differ from shrubs because they A. do not produce fruits, B. are useful to herbalists, C. do not become woody, D. are only annuals, E. are only perennials. That's from the year 1983, question 7. Let's give it a try. Okay, let's check what the correct answer says. The correct answer is C. do not become woody. The major difference between herbs and shrubs is that shrubs have woody stems, but herbs don't become woody. What I mean by woody, they have wood, a lot of wood. So shrubs will still become woody eventually. They'll grow up to become woody, while herbs don't become woody. That is the major difference between shrubs and herbs. Question 5. Which of the following is not a characteristic of monocot plants? A. occurrence of secondary thickening, B. parallel veination, C. scattered vascular bundles, D. floral parts arranged in threes, E. perianth is usually insignificant. That question is gotten from the year 1983, question 41. Why not give it a try? Why not give it a try? Okay, let's check what the correct answer says now. The correct answer is A. occurrence of secondary thickening. Correct answer is A because, let's look at option B, parallel veination. Parallel veination is a feature of monocot plants. Net veination is a feature of dicot plants. Scattered vascular bundles is also another feature of monocot plants. the vascular bundles of dicot plants are arranged. Floral parts arranged in trees. That's another feature of monocot plants. Dicot plants have their own floral parts arranged in 4s or 5s. Occurrence of secondary thickening is a feature of monocot plants. Dicot plants don't have occurrence of secondary thickening. Secondary thickening doesn't occur in dicot plants. Sorry, in monocot plants. It is a feature of dicot plants. So that's why the correct answer is A. Question 6. Which of the following is seed bearing? A. Mosses. B. Whistling pine. C. Algal filaments. D. Liverworts. E. Fern fronds. That's got from the year 1985, question 3. Let's give it a try. Okay, let's check what the correct answer says. The correct answer is B. Whistling pine. The correct answer is B. Whistling pine because the question asks us which of them is seed bearing. That means which of them produces seed, which of them bears seeds. The only group of plants that bear seeds are the spermatophytes, which are the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. All other group of plants, the thallophytes, the bryophytes, the pteridophytes, they do not bear seeds. Mosses are bryophytes, so they do not bear seeds. Algal filaments, they are thallophytes, so they do not bear seeds. Liverworts, they are bryophytes, so they do not bear seeds. Fern fronds are pteridophytes, they also do not bear seeds. While whistling pines are gymnosperms, also known as the conifers. The conifers, and they bear seeds. They are under the spermatophytes. Question 7. Which of the following is common to a dicotyledonous stem and a monocotyledonous root? A. Medullary rays. B. Central pith. C. White cortex. D. Narrow cortex. E. Pericyclic fibers. That question is got from the year 1985, question 13. Let's give it a try. Now let's check what the correct answer says. The correct answer is B. Central pith. Of all the options here, the only one that is common to both a dicotyledonous stem and a monocotyledonous root is central pith. That's the only thing they have in common among the options here, the central pith. Question 8. Which of the following pairs is fully adapted to terrestrial life? A. Ferns and algae. B. Ferns and mosses. C. Bryophytes and flowering plants. D. Flowering plants and conifers. That's got from the year 1986, question 2. Why not give it a try? Let's see what the correct answer says. The correct answer is D. Flowering plants and conifers. The question is asking us which one is fully adapted to terrestrial life. That means which of the plants, of the group of plants, can fully survive on a terrestrial habitat. Algae are aquatic plants, so obviously they will not survive in a terrestrial habitat. Meanwhile, the other groups of plants, the ferns, the mosses, the bryophytes, they require water for their germination. Flowering plants and conifers do not require water for their fertilization. For their fertilization, they do not require water, so they are fully adapted to terrestrial habitats. Question 9. Which of the following has cones? A. Angiosperm. B. Gymnosperm. C. Pteridophyte. D. Bryophyte. That question is gotten from the year 1986, question 4. Let's make an attempt. Let's try that. Now let's see what the correct answer is. The correct answer says B. Gymnosperm. The group of plants that produces cones are what we call the conifers or the gymnosperms. And the gymnosperms are found under the phylum Tracheophyta. Tracheophyta is divided into the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. The gymnosperms and the angiosperms bear Gymnosperms and the angiosperms are under the spermatophyta. Spermatophyta is under tracheophyta. The gymnosperms and the angiosperms bear seeds, but the gymnosperms also possess cones, and they're also called cone. We have an example are the pines and the conifers. So they possess cones, and that's the gymnosperms. Correct answer is B, gymnosperms. Question 10. Secondary thickening in a dicotyledonous stem is initiated by A. Xylem parenchyma, B. Secondary phloem, C. Endodermis, D. Cambium. That question is gotten from the year 1987, question 16. Why not give it a try? Let's give that a try. Now let's check out what the correct answer says. The correct answer is B. Secondary phloem. Secondary phloem is what initiates, when we say initiate, what brings about secondary thickening in a dicotyledonous stem. The correct answer is B, secondary phloem. The secondary phloem particularly is what is responsible for bringing about secondary thickening in dicotyledonous stems. Question 11. Double fertilization is a feature of A. Angiosperms, B. Bryophytes, C. Pteridophytes, D. Algae. That question is going from the year 1989, question 7. Let's give that a try. Why not give that a try? Now let's check what the correct answer says. The correct answer is A. Angiosperms. Double fertilization is particularly a feature of the angiosperms. One of the fertilization is particularly for the endosperm. That's why we have two fertilization, double fertilization. It means two fertilization. One will be for the endosperm, so the other one will be for the other one. So that's why we have two fertilization in angiosperms, and that's a feature of angiosperms only. Question 12. Question 12. Angiosperms and gymnosperms belong to this plant group A. Scythiophyta, B. Bryophyta, C. Pteridophyta, D. Spermatophyta, and that's got it from the year 1991, question 3. Let's give that a try. Why not give that a try? Now let's see what the correct answer says. The correct answer is D. Spermatophyta. As I've mentioned before, the spermatophyta are what we call the seed-bearing plants. They are called spermatophyta. Sperm in Greek means seed. So spermatophyta are the seed-bearing plants, and they are divided into two. We have the angiosperms, the gymnosperms, and the angiosperms. The gymnosperms is where we have the cones, the conifers and the pines. While the angiosperms, that's where we have the monocotyledons and dicotyledons. So we have just two divisions of spermatophyta, which are angiosperms and gymnosperms, two major divisions. So the correct answer is D, spermatophyta. Question 13. To facilitate gaseous exchange, breathing roots have A. Stomata, B. Mitochondria, C. Cuticle, D. lenticels. That is got from the year 1991, question 7. Why not give that a try? Why not try that? Try to attempt the question. Let's see what the correct answer says. The correct answer is D. Lenticels. So in order to bring about gaseous exchange, there must be a structure or a system for gaseous exchange to be able to take place in a plant. So for roots, it's lenticels. The answer is not stomata. Stomata is for leaves, not roots. Stomata is found in roots also. Stomata is found in leaves. Lenticels are found in roots. So both of them perform the function of gaseous exchange in plants. Question 14. Which of the following structures is capable of producing more tissues in the stem of herbaceous flowering plants? A. Epidermis. B. Pericycle. C. Xylem. D. Cambium. That's got it from the year 1998, question 11. Let's attempt that. Let's try that question ourselves. Now let's see what the correct answer says. The correct answer is D. Cambium. Cambium helps in the production of more tissues because it has what we call stem cells in it, and these stem cells are divided to produce what we call vascular tissues. The stem cells inside the cambium are divided to produce vascular tissues, and that's how more tissues are produced by the cambium. So the correct answer is D. Cambium. Question 15. The opening and closing of the stoma is regulated by A. Transpiration, B. Respiration, C. Diffusion, D. Osmosis. And that's got it from the year 2007, question 23. Let's give that a try. Let's see what the correct answer says. The correct answer is D. Osmosis. The opening and closing of the stoma requires a particular pressure. And what brings about this pressure is what we call the osmotic pressure, brought about by the process called osmosis. We all know what osmosis is. Osmosis is the movement of water or solvent particles from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration through a selectively permeable membrane. So the correct answer is D. Osmosis. Question 16. Seed plants are divided into A. Monocotyledons and dicotyledons, B. Tracheophytes and bryophytes, C. Tracheophytes and ferns, D. Angiosperms and Gymnosperms. That is got from the year 2011, question 4. Let's attempt that. Why not attempt that? Let's see what the correct answer is now. The correct answer is D. Angiosperms and Gymnosperms. Angiosperms and Gymnosperms. We've mentioned this before. There's a common misconception when we are asked which ones are the seed plants. Many people mention monocots and dicots, but that is a division under angiosperms. Gymnosperms are also seed-bearing plants, but what they bear is what we call naked seeds. The naked seeds are not, naked seeds means they are not covered. They are not covered, they are just exposed. So while the angiosperms bear covered seeds. So those two group of plants are what we call the seed-bearing plants, and they are under what we call Spermatophyta. And Spermatophyta is under the phylum Tracheophyta. With that, we've come to the end of today's class. Thank you for joining us. See you next class.